Hi folks, this is Rick Day with Optimum Success, and today we're going to talk about real estate prospects. How do you get it? What do you do with it? Let's talk about that briefly. Number one, what are the types of real estate? And you're probably all familiar. You got residential, you got commercial, you got industrial, and you got multifamily. And people sometimes they might get commercial because they have a business. They might get residential because they have a home or want another home. I would encourage you not to discount any of the four types of real estate, because what's it about? It's partly about your comfort level, certainly, but it's also about where are you going to get that income from, what's going to work for you. And I would encourage you to look at all of them. Most of your people that have been at it a while get into the commercial, industrial, or multifamily. Some people will do residential for quite a while because it feels safer to them. But I'd encourage you to think about all of them. A deal is a deal. And a deal doesn't come to you when you want it to often. It comes to you when it comes to you. That opportunity is there. And that doesn't mean you're always searching. Let's put it that way. You're always out there looking and you're searching. And don't discount the ways that you might do that. I've heard many people say they would never consider buying a property for investment purposes that's on the MLS, that's listed by a realtor. And I would say that a good half or more of the properties I've bought have already been listed. So a lot of times they're listed, but a lot of people might pass them by because they see something that doesn't work for them that I see as an opportunity to create value. So that's one of the many ways. So most people will start again as a residence or a small business, but look at all the types. So you can drive around and make phone calls. How do you do that? You drive around, you see something that looks distressed, it looks like it's not occupied, or maybe you know it's been around for a while. It's what I would call seasoned business, but I would look more for things that are distressed. So you drive around and call, you look at the multiple listings. Once you drive around and you find something, you look at your county property tax records. And typically, those are done in most counties by the address or a property tax number. And from there, you can go and you can find information. You can find out the name or the entity that owns the property. And then you can look at business registry or other places to get that phone number and start inquiring about it. The more distressed they are, if a place is extremely distressed, what does that tell you? I'm talking residential and commercial primarily now. Usually the other two not so much, sometimes industrial. Usually if it's really distressed, it means you have a problem tenant, there is no tenant, somebody has passed away, somebody is aged out, maybe they have a lot of assets and they aren't paying attention to that asset. So it's an opportunity. Wholesalers. Most people that are in the industry know wholesales, people that aren't don't. A wholesaler is an individual or a company that finds properties, and some of them use fairly complex matrix. They might look for divorce, probate, or death. They might look for things, foreclosure, arrears in county tax records, this sort of thing. Now, most of us have heard about buying properties on the courthouse steps, and this does happen, but my experience has been it's typically a waste of time these days, but it's a possibility. The wholesalers look at all these options. They usually make a small amount of money to pass the property on. In my experience, that's been about $5,000 on residential properties. So the wholesalers, once you get on their list, if they think you're a serious buyer, they will push properties your way, which in theory, these are more on your flip variety on the residential side. You have your actual owners themselves. If you can reach out to them, you find a distressed property, find the owner and reach out to them. Another way that most people don't consider is property management companies. Oftentimes they're managing large portfolios, small, medium, large portfolios for owners. Maybe those owners are getting older. Maybe they don't want to do it anymore. Maybe they have a property that's a dog they don't want to invest the money in. So that's another opportunity. Get to know, network with people. Always network with people. That might be your way to find a property management company that has some properties that you can get a deal on. Again, always be looking. I love to drive around wherever I am. I don't care where it is in the world or in the country. I'm always looking, always looking. Financing, we talked about that a bit in a previous video, and we'll talk about it in future videos. How do you do that? You do banks and credit unions typically. And those, you're 5% to 25% down, typically. There's other ways out there. There's hard money lenders. Hard money lenders, typically, they're not that hard to find. I've got several now. They typically charge nothing down, but they charge high interest and points to finance the deal. If you're going to get out of it quickly or you're going to refinance it, who cares? If it's going to make you money, it's just a way to get from here to there. Then take it to the conventional lender. So I want to encourage you to see our video on property stories where I'll get more into depth. I bought industrial, commercial, and residential properties, and I have some great stories, some with success and some with failure, but I want to share some of those stories with you. So look for that on a future video. Thank you for joining us today.